Greetings everybody from Detroit at the Automate Show. We're here with Gregory Tink of Schneider Electric. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Great seeing you again. We're talking about digital transformation in manufacturing. And you describe digital transformation as a marathon broken into sprints. Now, what's one sprint that consistently builds the most momentum early in a transformation journey, and why are some organizations skipping?
Yeah, I think there's a couple reasons why companies skip the first immediate steps, which is, really it's about building your foundation and creating a vision and a strategy and the reason is really that it's hard. It's hard work to do that. It's hard work to get the organization going, and they get tempted by the sexy technology and they want to skip to that. They want to let's just pilot. And what ends up happening is they get stuck in pilot purgatory, and they have a difficult time getting out of pilot purgatory. And that's because there isn't an original vision, original strategy, and they haven't really thought through why they're transforming. They've skipped to, let's try to use this technology. Right. And I think that's a big error as far as the first sprint goes. Mm-hmm. Start with the people, start with the strategy and the vision, and then you're setting up the foundation for what you want to do in the future.
Thanks for those insights. Now, in those facilities where the vision is unclear or fragmented, how do you guide the teams to build a unified roadmap that aligns frontline reality, the workers there, with the boardroom expectations?
Yeah, there's a thing that I call the carrot and the stick, and you need both the carrot that incentivize people to do the right things and change behavior, and then you need the stick every once in a while to help them move forward and get them going. And I think both those things are really important with the alignment to the vision and seeing people change their behavior. People do what they're rewarded to do, and if you don't change the rewards, if you don't give them the carrot, they won't change their behavior. And then every once in a while, people will resist just because they've done something the same way for a long time. And then, you need a little bit of the stick to carry them along.
Carrot and a stick. Thank you for that. Now, when defining the KPIs for digital initiatives, how should manufacturing balance the quick wins that you talked about against the long-term impact? And what's one metric you believe that should be retired?
That's a good question. Can I start with the last part? I don't think we retire OEE, but I think that we should start considering a bit of a bucket of KPIs that we manage, as opposed to one or two simple. So I think simple metrics, and I think OEE, while it's a good measure, it deserves to get sort of moved down the chain a little bit, because it's got equipment in the name. It's all about the equipment,
right?
And there's way more measures that you have to pay attention to in order to successfully move your digital transformation forward. And so the first step is establishing what important KPIs are there for you and what you want to focus on, and then you need to find the right data in order to bring that forward, so that you can actually measure that. And you can't improve unless you're proving it.
Right.
And so prove it by measuring it, and then you can say, okay, that's our baseline, now we need to improve, and then you can take those steps going forward. And I think that's really important. But OEE, I wouldn't get rid of it. I think it's an important KPI, but I would definitely put it like fourth or fifth on the list, because I think it can be a distraction as well when you're just looking at that one measure.
Now, what about the balance between the quick wins and the long-term business impact?
Yeah, so even with the quick wins, it's important to establish what what you're improving and the ROI, and make sure you have the business case.
Right.
Yeah, because even with a quick win, you need to tie it to something that you can measure and you can show the benefits, but also it's got to mean something for the business.
Right.
So even with quick wins, focus on the business case, focus on the ROI, the benefits. The long-term goals, they're a little bit harder to work on, because you tend to want to do things quickly. And so your long-term goals, really, when you create your roadmap, you've got year 2, year 3, and you start working on the quick wins, there should be a tie from your quick wins to those long-term goals. They shouldn't be things that are done in isolation that don't have common themes and common metrics that you're working towards. So tie them together. They should mean the same thing. The reasons why you're making the improvements and why you're transforming digitally, the quick wins or long-term sort of goals, those all should be connected to each other.
Thank you, Greg. Now, you've alluded earlier that some companies jump into technology for sake of technology way too fast. How can you tell when a company is jumping into AI or digital twins before they build the right foundation, and what steps should they take to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, AI is all about data, and so when we do AI readiness assessments, and when we're talking to companies and they don't have the data, or they don't have the data with the right context, we tend to tell them to work on that foundational part of data management before they start working, before they start doing bigger AI sort of ambitions or having aspirations for that. And the reason, ultimately you can ask, do you have an AI strategy? And if a company doesn't have an AI strategy, it's probably time to get an AI strategy. If you don't understand data management in the context of sensor to the cloud, then you're probably not ready for a lot of future development around digital, because you haven't put the structures in place in your company to manage the data properly. So that's a key thing that we start with. It's like understanding whether or not they have an AI strategy, and if they don't, well, we should start there. Is your data accessible? Do you have the right data context? Those types of things come along with that. But if they have an AI strategy, a lot of times they're more sophisticated because they've thought of that, and they're ready perhaps to start taking steps in the right direction towards utilizing AI and their data more effectively.
Thanks for those insights. Now I want to end with one question. Now, if you could reframe the term digital transformation to make it more relevant or less intimidating for the industrial teams, what would it be called you, and what would you call it, and why?
Good question. I guess, it's easy to say operational transformation, but I want to say operational evolution. And because I think what digital transformation is at its core is an enabler for operational transformation or evolution. So if we want to evolve ourselves and work differently, we need digital, and that's all part of it. So I think we work in the operations excellence space,
right? And
digital transformation is really all about operating with excellence, the evolution that you need to take your company through. And I not only would I say that's probably less intimidating, I think it's probably more accurate a term, because digital transformation could mean anything with technology,
right? And
we see it getting used to really mean everything from putting in a PLC to putting in a historian to cloud systems. All those classifies digital transformation. But when we look at digital transformation, we're looking at really how can you evolve your operations and improve your operations going forward. So I pick operational evolution would be mine.
Thank you. So less priority on OEE and more of a priority on OE.
Yes, absolutely, exactly.
Thank you for sharing the insights. And if you in the audience have questions for Greg or his team, feel free to leverage the hashtag or stop by the booth and talk to Greg directly. Thank you.